This is the Aula F75, the internet's favorite keyboard. Here in Southeast Asia, I can get this thing for 35, 40 bucks. Over stateside, you're looking at 50 bucks, and I still think that this is a great feeling, great sounding keyboard for many of you. I'm sure a lot of people watching this right now might be interested in modifying their Aula F75. So I chose to take it apart and see how moddable the Aula F75 was. Taking the Aula F75 apart, I found a few things that were quite interesting. First, the process to take the Aula F75 apart isn't that modification friendly. You're gonna need to start by pulling out this back panel on it, and then you're gonna basically pry with your fingers or a credit card or any other kind of soft object around the perimeter of this until you release the snaps and it begins to come up. Once that is taken apart and you have lifted the top outer shell of it, you're going to be greeted with the gasket mount and the PCB along with the top plate. Removing the PCB and top plate from the case, you have to be really careful not to break any of the ribbon connectors holding on the volume knob, the PCB to the daughter board, or the board that is connected into the USB-C connection slot for charging and using it wired. When I took the Aula F75 apart, I noticed a couple of things. First is that in the bottom of this plastic case, you have a silicone mat or like a silicone insert that's on the bottom of it to help deaden sound. You then have an extra layer of foam underneath the cut PCB and then a foam layer between the FR4 top plate and the PCB itself. When looking to modify this, I saw really only two different areas that you would want to modify it. The first would be to remove the foam from the back of the PCB and then to do what we call a tape mod. This would make it a little bit lower in sound as the tape mod kind of acts like a high frequency pass filter or a high pass filter to make it a little bit deeper in sound. The next thing is that you could go ahead and remove the silicone tray from the bottom, but that would lead the Aula F75 to being really, really squishy and not that bouncy. Personally, in my opinion, the Aula F75 is a totally fine keyboard to mod, but there isn't a whole lot that I would actually do with it. We already have a comprehensive set of foam as well as silicone dampening mats if you want to dampen the overall sound and make this thing sound quieter. Unfortunately though, because of the cut PCB, you're going to have certain limitations to what you can do with it in sound. If you're unhappy with the typing experience of the Aula F75, like I was, or you find it a little bit too mushy and vague, you might want to try changing out the keys of the Aula F75, or sorry, not the keys, the switches of the Aula F75 to a tactile switch. I did that and I found the typing experience to be okay, but the board still felt a little bit too mushy, and I outlined that in a video which I'll link for you guys up here. You could go ahead and jam some more foam though between the last layer of foam and the silicone dampening mat. You just have to make sure to go ahead and clear some of the cutouts for posts in the cut PCB. Those posts kind of help line everything up so that when you are squishing on it, nothing kind of comes out of alignment. Adding more foam in between the layers of foam that we already have would cut down on some of the flex from the die cuts PCB, but then you kind of run the risk of losing all of the gasket performance, which makes this keyboard pretty nice to feel. Overall though, I don't really think I would modify the Aula F75 simply because it's really not designed to be run foamless unless you love an ultra springy, ultra bouncy, and kind of vague feeling keyboard. There aren't any other options from what I have seen for different top mounting plates on it, so you're kind of stuck with the performance that you're getting out of the current gasket and cut PCB. For my money, I much preferred the Aula F75S that I recently built, and I can outline that for you in a video up here. That keyboard, even though it's not super mod friendly and you still have to rip it apart with your hands, responds very, very well to a tape mod and adding more foam. And I was really happy with the outcome that I got from doing that with my Aula F75S. If you guys want more videos about modding other keyboards, go ahead and let me know. If you guys like the short that I did about disassembling the Aula F75, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and comment on this video. We're trying to grow this channel, and every single vote, or every single like, every single sub goes a long way to helping the YouTube algorithm gods grow the channel, and I really appreciate it. Until next time, it's been Mitchell. Peace.